So I just got some goodies in the mail today. I'll give you a guess what those are. This is National Parts Depot, and I believe these are my bolt hardware kits for my control arms. And this is my replacement nuts for my tie rod ends from Hotchkiss. Basically, long story short, the kit came with 4 nuts for the tie rod ends. Excuse me. They were all right thread. I needed 2 left thread and 2 right thread. So they sent me the 2 left thread replacements, free of charge, of course, because they're awesome. So I will videotape this with an unboxing in just a moment. Alright, about to unbox these shocks and hardware kits from iBach and National Parts Depot in Hotchkiss. It's a weird box. We'll just saw it open. There we go. Okay. Nothing special. Just the 2 nuts for the tie rod ends. Basically for these right here. On the other side, the inner tie rod end is reverse thread, and so that's what these are for. All right. As you can tell now, these are the bump stops for the upper control arms. 2 of those. I'll take one out of the package so you can see. Okay. Let's look at the light. It's kind of hard to see with that. Here you go. So now you see it. Alright, so what it does goes, whoop, wrong one, grab the wrong one. Where's one at? The other one? Here we go. And goes right here, this hole. Just twist it, see if it'll pop in. I have to put some grease on it. But let's try. Yeah, put a little grease on a little bit here. No big deal. Okay. Fall. And let's see what else we have. So the hardware kit for the lower control arm. And this is the hardware kit for the upper. It's got some shims in it as well. I have some shims already, but I needed more just in case the ones that I have are just too corroded, or I might need more. I'm not sure. I still got to get aligned after I get done with this. Take it to my local mechanic. Alright, there's that. And last but not least, this is the one I've been waiting for, excited about. My shocks. So I had to order these types of shocks because the springs that I have are a 2-inch drop spring. So I had to order some iBach springs. I had these in Hotchkiss springs, but I went ahead and got the iBach instead. So a little bit cheaper, but they're kind of nice. So it's too bad. I like those. They look good. Basically what it is because these this shaft has to be a little bit shorter, because since the 2-inch drop springs, a stock spring will be too long and it won't actually ride correctly. Might actually bottom out. I'm not sure. I've never rode lower springs with a stock shock before, but I imagine it would do some damage. So I will be installing those in the next day or two. I'm going to get the control arms on first, and then the spring. I'm going to throw the shock in after that, tie rod ends, and be ready to rock and roll. So there's that for that. I've been doing some more work and cleaning up some pieces. Here is some hardware that I cleaned up with a sandblaster. These are the clippings for the inner fender and bolts. Clean those up. I'm going to hit those up with some satin Rust-Oleum, and I've done some more work as well. I'll show you a quick video on those in just a minute. For the inner fender, I already showed you that. Got the inner fender done, and the lower section corner, I don't know what it's called now, goes on the fender, but the lower part that bolts up to the fender, it's like a little corner piece on the front. I took that off, sandblasted the interior and the exterior, and then after I got done with that, took it out, and then I hit it with my orbital sander to smooth up the outside skin. Cleaned it all off, isopropyl alcohol, and sprayed it on the inside of it with the Rust-Oleum satin black. And then the exterior I did just to keep it coated with some type of protectant until I can actually paint it. This right here, some Duplicolor primer, sandable, just plain white. So I just did that 2 coats just to give it some type of protection until the time comes I can actually sand it down and paint it with a actual automotive paint for it. So that's where I'm at right now. And there's one more piece right here. I did this piece here, little bracket that goes on the inner fender as well. Did that too. So sprayed that with 2 coats, letting that dry. It's pretty much done now. Alright, that's where I'm at right now as far as on the car goes. And got some goodies in today, so excited about that. Ready to install those. So I will update you when that starts, possibly tomorrow. So, okay, stay safe. Alright, so I went ahead and the tie rods, went and get them set up to the passenger side and the driver's side. And I measured them before. This is about 15.5, and this is 15 5/8. So they're pretty close to where they need to be. Once I get it on the car, I might adjust it a little bit. But I went ahead and got these put together, and I'm going to start bolting up the control arms now. So I'll show you that process in a minute. Okay, I'm going to go and throw the upper control arm on now. It's going to be a lot easier because I don't have anything in the way. So you might be able to see a little bit more of what I'm doing. I'll try to move the camera in to show you exactly what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Basically what I got, just 2 bolts, the replacement ones that I got. Some new shims I'll put on each side. And to keep possibly seizing up again a little anti-seize, just a little bit on the tip of the thread here. So here we go. you go. Just so you get an idea. Not too much. Just a little bit of anti-seize just to help it. So we get the nuts on, tighten it down. Now these right here, like I've said it before, you can't. You don't need to tighten these up all the way until the car sits back down on its own weight. So right now they're on here snug, but I don't have them on there tight. So when they're done, when I get this done, it's back on the ground, then I'll tighten these bolts up as tight as they can go. But yeah, like I said, just make sure when you're taking this off, you either, some people do is they take tape and they take their shims and tape that one, you know, left and right. All I did for the other side was took some Ziploc bags, put one in that side and one in the other, and marked what they were. This made it easier for me to remember which one's which. So this one's pretty easy. This had one thin and one thick shim on each side, front and the back. All right. And one thing to remember is when you tighten this, these bolts actually have grooves on them to help grab onto this shaft. So you want to tighten it from this side here. So I'd use it to get it in first, and then once I get in, so I can feel it start grabbing, I started from this side to tighten it down. Shims, I forgot, I probably should have put some grease or something to keep them in place. They kept falling down. But that's it right there, pretty much. And it's easier when you have it loose like this, so you can just lift it up if you need to. So that's another good thing about not tightening it down too much. Just keep it snug, just, you know, finger tight or whatever. So there's that. That's the upper on, and I'll start on the lower here, and I'll show you that as well. So after I get that done, I'm going to work on the spring, get that in place. All right. Be back later. I put a little grease on it to help maybe it slide in there easier. Just a little bit. I don't know if it'll work or not. We'll try. See how it goes. managed to get the nut on. I had to get a shorter socket and basically just put a little grease on the inside of it to keep it in place. That way it wouldn't fall out, because when I go through this hole here, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's a hole, basically. You have to go through there and put the nut on the bolt. And now I'm going to get ready to tighten it up. And once I get it all tightened up and everything, I'm going to try to put this spindle on possibly and get that lightly bolted on as well, just snug tight. And I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, here it is with a mock-up. Just trying to see how the spindle fits. Just want to make sure it actually lines up pretty good before I go through with the process of getting the spring on. So, but that's what it looks like so far. This is all going to be taken off, of course. So when I do the spring, but it's not bad. It's got a little bit of tension up here. It seemed to be a little bit harder to get down on the shaft, but I still got to put grease in these too. They don't have any grease in the ball joints yet, so I got to get my grease gun, put some grease in them, and get those ready for tomorrow. So I just wanted to do a quick update, show you where I'm at. All right.